We're looking at ICT development, the role of research and education networks, to be presented by Dr. Joshua Atah, who is unavoidably absent, prepared an academic, a conference paper. I don't know if ComDICT, your conference proceedings, do you publish them? Okay, so we have a document, we have a conference paper, but for the sake of presentation, this is a PowerPoint slide. Okay, so this is what we're going to be looking at, our agenda, looking at introducing what a REN is. Already my work was really simplified by the BC unit just. So Tango talked about RENs. So we're looking at that more deeply. We look at it from the global perspective, and of course we look at it from Nigeria's perspective, since Nigeria happens to have a REN. We look at what REN is doing in the ICT landscape, we look at the challenges, we look at recommendations. Okay, so the REN is a research and education network. And when the country operates a REN, it's now called an NREN. So a national REN is a specialized network that dedicates to supporting the needs of research and education communities within the country. Professor Tanko has already explained what a REN does. It's a specialized ISP. It provides connectivity, like I said, it's a backbone. It provides that connectivity. It allows the participating institutions. Just like they were having games in China and WhatsApp was restricted. The universities under that community were able to access it. So only if you are in that environment, you'll be able to use the services that the REN provides. So it's a specialized ISP. It gives broadband internet, and it supports research projects. It, of course, it connects RENs with one another, and also with commodity internet. So our topic, we're going to talk about ICT infrastructure, which is in line with the theme of this year's conference, digital transformation. So digital transformation, you need your ICT infrastructure to be transformed. So our ICT infrastructure, we're looking at your hardware, the software, looking at all that pertains to your network. In regards to REN, we're looking at global connectivity. Like I said, REN connects you to the internet as well as global partners. And of course, REN leads to development. It's a catalyst for development. With REN, you are able to collaborate. You are able to share library resources with one another, like the first speaker who spoke. If a university has access to a database, why not share with other universities? So that's what the collaborative aspect. And most importantly, we're talking about financing. So economies of skills. When we come together as a cluster or a group of universities, we're able to get better deals. Governance. RENs are not-for-profits. Institutions established not-for-profits. A REN can be established either through grassroots initiatives, which in the room here we have ICT directors. These are the bodies where REN develop from. There's also the top-down directives where government comes and steps in to help. And there's also a hybrid version of that. So common features of a REN: it gives high-speed connectivity, shared services, cost efficiency, open science and infrastructure. This is where the world is going into. Research collaboration, enhancing research collaboration, capacity building, and enabling regional and development. That is the SDG goals. RENs are now encouraged to support SDG goals. So this makes it attractive, especially when you're looking for global funding. RENs are scattered all over the world. Nigeria, we have our own REN. Ghana has a REN. And between NG REN, Garnet, and the most recent one in Gambia, they are all covered by a regional REN, which is the regional RRN. For West Africa, it is called BACREN. So in America, you also have Internet 2, and it's all over there around the whole world. So the reason why I want to believe why we were called to make this presentation is because we're talking about RENs globally. But Nigeria has a REN. So why not we be involved in this discussion? So we thought, why not use NGREN as a case study of RENs? Nigeria has a REN called the NGREN. It's also a member of BACREN and is domiciled in the National Universities Commission. So what is it about NGREN? How did we evolve? How did we get here? We had preliminary discussions far back as 2010. Study, visits, and designs all were all done to ensure a blueprint. Documentations can't escape policies. So when you are talking about policies, which we started in the conference, you have to ensure that you go through the processes of registration. So all this was done. NGREN received support from the World Bank, which is also similar to GAMREN. GAMREN is the REN in Gambia. We have a very similar hybrid structure where governments, World Bank, and the universities came together to establish the REN. So initially, services was provided to its federal universities as well as the NUC Secretariat and CVC Secretariat. This continued as well as finally when the project was commissioned by the President in 8th of July 2014. So initially this is the network diagram of the REN of the network at that time. This is all part of the evolution. So as it is now, this is a current diagram to serve its community better. NGREN, like I said, follows a hybrid structure of government as well as the university through the partnership between NUC and CBC. So that means the members of the universities are represented as well as government through the NUC. Strategic oversight is provided by NUC as well as representation from member universities. NGREN is currently sustained by subscription of paying universities. And since the initial intervention, NGREN has grown to connect about 45 universities, both federal, private, and state universities. Given the increasing number of institutions, the network was designed using this new diagram. So it's a star topology. We'll talk more about this. So we're talking about infrastructure development. Connection to the NGREN is based on the HPC, which is a high performance computing system that is able to serve the entire Nigerian university system. That's a picture of it. There's a connection of lease line capacity of about 30 gigabytes. The internet capacity is about 30 gigabytes as well. The service providers rather, the ones we know about as well as IXPN. And all this provides collaborative services, educational services, connectivity services, as well as research services. So this is the full stack of the infrastructure. So what about the infrastructure? Under the NGREN cloud, we know that cloud is have the infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and research infrastructure service. So under the infrastructure, universities, some of them have already subscribed and they're already using, they have access to that virtual machine. Some of them are using it for storages, virtual labs, ERPs, and all that. Services currently on the HPC, we have the Moodle, talked about the LMS, speaker talked about LMS earlier, certification portals, web hosting, domain name system, the M&E portal, which is a very key application. Many universities now are clamoring for M&E application. When you are managing huge projects, especially those foreign donor projects, they usually ask, where is your M&E architecture? So we have something like this running on the NGREN. And other services are age research, MATLAB, DrillBit, it's an anti-plagiarism software, of course EBSCO hosts, ProQuest, and Science Direct. Federated services, now this is a key thing about an NRED. It's what differentiates it from the regular service ISP. Your federated services is a system where you have a unique login where, for example, as all the DICs are present here, you can log into services using your university's credential. No need to ask for Wi-Fi password at all. So some of the federated services are all under a project which we are calling the NIRIS, Nigerian Institutional Repository Identity System. So we're working on the federated repository as well as the EduRoam. We rolled out the EduRoam last year, and however we are currently configuring it with GIANT for better service optimization. Like I said earlier, the network to the start topology, universities can receive up to 1 gigabyte of bandwidth. The network is domiciled here. I saw earlier that NC, National Data Protection Commission, was coming to speak. I know one of the things they normally say is that we want our data to be inside the country. So the NGREN is hosted in country at a tier 3 data center, which is ensuring 99% uptime. And we also ensure cybersecurity features such as firewalls and network monitoring tools as well. NGREN supports communities. We're talking of ICT development. We also support communities. There are several projects running in some of your universities. Some of your universities are present here, all under the topic of all other thematic areas like health, education, agriculture, STEM, procurement, environmental, social standards, as well as climate change. I can see Engineer Deora nodding his head because his university too is among, that's OAU. So they are all represented, and NGREN looks for a way to support these communities by amplifying what these centers of excellence are doing. Challenges, yes. Nothing new here. In fact, the opening speech of the chairman, he mentioned some of the challenges, and I was like, did he see our notes? So some of those challenges are unique and cuts across. Financial challenges. Universities are struggling with subscription to internet access. There's also a misconception of what a REN is. And when we understand that a REN is different from the regular ISP, we begin to appreciate it more. So there should be no need of competition because your REN is a specialized network, and we need to also partner with the ISPs because some of the universities have challenges connecting their local. That's why we mentioned local campus coverage. If the campus is covered with good ICT infrastructure, we heard about ABU having the first university to connect with fiber optics. So that's also a challenge. ABU might be lucky, but not many other universities. And also last mile connectivity is also a challenge, as well as power. You cannot rule out power. What are the recommendations? We're recommending to the universities, the polytechnics, colleges of education, which are the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. We need to invest in ICT infrastructure. We need to promote digital literacy, as well as collaborate. We can collaborate, and that cannot be emphasized. And for government, we also need more funding. We need to expand last mile connectivity, as well as enable duty-free ICT imports. In conclusion, RENs are critical to modern research. The way modern research is going is that your universities must collaborate. In fact, when AEC comes for accreditation, we have this instrument called the PEF, the Program Evaluation Form. The standard 6.0 talks about research collaboration. Then they ask you, how are you collaborating with other universities? So imagine you already have a REN. It shows the collaboration. And the way research and education is going, your REN is like your visa. Because many universities, many RENs, they have all these services in their REN. And to access it, you need a single sign-on. showing that you are coming from another REN or an educational institution. So that's what a REN provides. It's a digital passport. Rounding up, sir. Being members of REN prompts development in your institution, which we mentioned. The competitive advantage of a REN over the ISP is that its ability to provide advanced services, which we also mentioned. NGREN is transforming Nigeria's academic landscape. Nigeria has 295 universities. As of last week, 30th of April, NUC licensed 11 additional universities. So 295 universities, as well as the several polytechnics, college of educations, all need interconnectivity. When we collaborate together, we are able to have a better national development, national infrastructure. These are some of the references we use to work on the document, and I want to thank you for listening.